What's up, everybody? Welcome to THS Wrestling. This week in wrestling, THS Wrestling, Facebook.com/THS Wrestling News, Instagram.com/THS.Wrestling, and YouTube.com/that hashtag show TV. We got a lot to talk about. We're going to be talking about Impact, AEW, NXT, Raw. We got a lot to get to. Matthew in the chat, what's going on, man? I hope you had a good weekend. Hope everybody had a good weekend. But before we get to our topics at hand, I am joined by Jimmy. Jimmy, welcome back. How are you, sir?
Doing good. Always good to be on the show.
Good to have you as always. And I am also joined by Johnny P 313.
What up? Woo! Good to be here with y'all. What's up, John? Good to be here with you. Jimmy, pleasure as always, sir. Thank you for coming through.
The chat is blowing up. Ian, what's going on, man? Good talking to you this week. We got a TNA chat already. Oh my God, it's happening. Nice. The people are excited.
So that only refers to Moose right now, by the way.
It's true. Just Moose. So before we get into normal wrestling talk, we did have Regis Philbin passed away this week, and I know a lot of people know Regis mainly for being an on-air personality in the Regis and Kathy Lee in the morning. But I think a lot of people, just to me, I was going through a lot of stuff, and dude did a lot for the wrestling business. I feel I'll throw up some pictures here. Here's him with the Undertaker, and I think this is WrestleMania 7. I can't remember.
It's 7.
And he had, I mean, just if anything, he had a great career in general, but just everything he did because I remember Regis and Kathy Lee having wrestlers on all the time. It was crazy. And it gave such a boost to the wrestling business. And I mean, he will be dearly missed. I always loved Regis. Regis is hilarious, whether he was on Letterman or doing stuff with wrestling or just, doing his own thing. So he will be absolutely missed. Do you guys have any memories of Regis from wrestling or just in general?
I mean, for me, it's always been whenever he had wrestlers on the show. And, if I was ever homesick, it'd pretty much either be Price is Right or Live with Regis and Kathy Lee. And, of course, his WWF appearances. And I'm actually shocked that he's not in the Hall of Fame yet, but I'm pretty sure that, this is now going to make him a shoo-in for whenever this next Hall of Fame happens, because I don't believe they had a celebrity inductee yet for this year.
No, I don't think they did.
But yeah, it's sad to see him go. And damn, 2020.
Yeah, man, just keeps taking and taking.
Yeah. Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, man? Like, he was a great host on that. I mean, killer ratings.
Yes, absolutely.
And same, I honestly just remember Regis as just an awesome, positive personality. Like, I remember from a lot of his television spots he would do. Like, he was on an episode of How I Met Your Mother, and I remember that being hilarious and everything like that. Again, like Kathy and Regis was like a dope show and everything like that. But I just always remember from Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and it's always been like a positive force of energy. Like, whenever he was doing an interview or talking to somebody, it was never like any negativity. He was just always a positive force to be around, and we're gonna miss that in the world going forward. So, R.I.P. Regis.
I'd always heard that his show was the easiest show to do. I was reading a lot of celebrities going, easiest show I ever did. It was just a blast every time I would go on there. So yeah, will be dearly missed. I heard that and I went, oh no, like I was like, oh no, Regis. Not Regis 2020. Come on. Yeah. So last week we were going to talk about Impact, and we ran out of time. We almost went 2 hours last week because we were too busy talking about the Fiend emerging from a swamp or something like that. So I don't know. I have no idea. What are they doing? So this week, I told everyone I was going to watch Impact. I'm just throwing it up. There it is. Impact Wrestling. Boom. And I think, did all of us watch Impact this week? That's fine. That's fine.
Got to work a little bit more hard to get my attention, but they keep doing this and we watch it soon.
So this to me, this was the first time I've watched Impact in, I think, since they did Broken Matt Hardy stuff. So it's been a while, and the show, and the thing that sometimes we as wrestling fans, and by sometimes I mean always, we're always like overcritical of everything. So I tried to go into it going, I don't know who most of these people are. I don't know where they are in storylines, but I know they're trying real hard with all these new talents. So I watched the show. I thought it was okay. That's just my honest opinion. I thought the main event was the best match. It was so great. We have new Impact Tag Team Champions, Motor City Machine Guns, who won the titles. I believe it was 10 years and 10 days after they first won them, which is insane to think about. They beat the North, which is an amazing tag team, which I've known about Josh Alexander and Ethan Page for a while, but have I ever been sleeping on them? My goodness. But overall, I like the direction they're going, and they did not lose my interest right away. And I enjoyed the show enough to continue. Jimmy, what did you think this week?
Just like you, this is the first time I watched Impact in a very long time, television-wise. I think the last time I watched it, like regularly, might have even been during the Global Force era.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, as far as regularly, not just checking in every now and again, but I actually did attend the live Impact show, or house show, I guess, when they were here in LA late last year.
We were thinking of going to that, the collective of us.
Yeah, and that was it's weird because that was my introduction to a lot of the talent that I did see this week on Impact, because most of these names, like an Ace Austin or I'm familiar with the North, but like a lot of the talent, like I first saw on that show. So that's why going into Slammiversary, going into this week's Impact, I was at least a little bit familiar with most of the names. Like you said, I think the show is okay, but I think that's fine given that they're trying to find their footing with everything going on, especially after Slammiversary, where they're trying to give as much of their best with a product that a lot of people haven't been familiar with or haven't seen in a long time. Like you said, the show was pretty good. I think they had a good main event. I'm happy that the Machine Guns won because I love them as a tag team, but I don't necessarily think they needed to win because they're the Machine Guns.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, it was an enjoyable show, and I'm hoping that as the weeks come with all this influx of talent, that they find their footing and they can get back up to where the heyday of TNA used to be.
Yeah, I think you mentioned the influx of talent, and I think a lot of people, including myself, have to realize that they just got like 8 guys, and they're just like, what do we do now? Like, I mean, it's kind of hard to have a turnaround of 2 days or 2 or 3 days, I feel, when you have 8 new superstars that you need to include in your roster. And I think the introduction of the Good Brothers taking on Reno Scum is great. I think that's a great first tag team for them to take on. Johnny, you said they have to do a little more to pique your interest. What would you need to see from Impact to tune in weekly?
EC3. No, serious, but actually, no, for real though. Like low key, I need to see what they're gonna do with these WWE guys that they've just acquired. Because part of the reason why I don't want to tune in yet is I'm scared it's gonna be kind of like the old Impact, where they're just gonna bring in these WWE guys and kind of what was Voodoo
Kid Mafia.
Yeah, exactly. Like a bunch of stuff like that where they're just rehashing their old WWE gimmicks. And so I need to see them coming in and doing new personalities, doing their own stuff and getting that off the ball going, establish their own company. Because to be real with you, I'm low-key really excited. I saw all those women they introduced in that Battle Royale, which is a dope way to introduce their women's division, which is damn, this is a deep women's division. It feels deeper than the AEW women's division, which we're going to talk about later in their tag team tournament. And then on top of that, they have all this dope WWE talent to actually really like. I like EC3, I like Gallows and Anderson, I like a lot of the people that came over to them. So I'm legit excited to see what they do with them. but I'm going to wait and give it a couple weeks for them to get their footing, and then I'm going to like tune in like when I hear some positive things. But I'm going to give it a minute first and let them get settled in and see what they do with it.
I mean, I think that's fair. And Mitchell says Impact killed it last Saturday. That's why a lot of us are tuning in, because they killed it. And I think for me, that first match, when I saw they were doing Chris Bay, Willie Mack rematch, I got really excited. But that match just ended. It just ended. And it was over. And I was like, this was a rematch for the title. And the match at the pay-per-view was really good. What happened here? So there's still some stuff that I, as a, I guess I'm a casual viewer of Impact, or less than casual. Jeez. There's some stuff that I still need to see out of Impact, but I'm going to tune in. I'm tuning in weekly. I'm in to win it. If you guys don't know where to watch Impact, just go to Twitch, twitch.tv/Impact Wrestling. It was easy. I just logged on. It's on at 8 p.m. Eastern on Tuesdays, and it was great. You guys are blurry. I don't know what to do about that, Matthew. It's just the natural state of the world. Everything is blurry. All right, guys, we got to move on to Impact, or not. We need to move past Impact, and we need to move on to AEW. AEW this week, the first hour was fantastic. I mean, NXT needs to look at that and be like, we should do more of that, because AEW this week, right out of the gate, was a fantastic show. They had, and just you could see how many talkers they had. I mean, throughout the show, especially in the first hour. I mean, that Jake the Snake promo when Lance Archer was just beating the shit out of dudes was the greatest thing ever. I loved it. But we started off the show with the AEW TNT Championship Open Challenge, and we had heard rumors, and the rumors were true, and I was very happy to see this man walk through the curtain. Eddie Kingston, the last of a dying breed. If you don't know, now you know. Eddie Kingston killed it on Wednesday. I've been watching Eddie Kingston for almost those 18 years, and as a huge Eddie Kingston guy, I can say I'm extremely proud of the performance he put on. The not only the promo he cut, also the match he put on, which was absolutely insane. We got tax. We got some tax, people. And Cody taking the tax. And Cody brought it too. Man, I could talk about Eddie Kingston for hours. Everything he did afterwards, the promos he did, I think he did 2 backstage promos. He posted a promo on just a promo machine. Eddie Kingston trended by himself without the hashtag. And then he trended with the hashtag sign Eddie Kingston. As of this, Eddie Kingston not signed. I think it's a shoo-in for sure. What did you guys think of Eddie Kingston's debut on, I guess, national television?
This is my favorite. Oh, go ahead, Jimmy.
I was going to say this. Yeah. I don't know if you could say this is first time on national television, because he actually was on Impact. I forget the name of that group he was in, but I always feel like Impact hindered the Eddie Kingston we were supposed to see.
Yeah.
And Dynamite was the Eddie Kingston we were supposed to see. And, I've been following this guy for years. Like, I'm an old school CZW guy, so seeing him make the grander stage of Impact, on Dynamite on TNT, I was really excited. And honestly, for me, this was the absolute highlight of the show. The rest of Dynamite was just me personally, I found kind of lackluster, especially compared to what I was seeing over on NXT. Yes, I'm biased a bit, but that's just how I felt. Honestly, I was surprised, because I have a tendency to stay away from the dirt sheets, so I had no idea it was going to be Eddie Kingston. I had a feeling it was going to be Matt Cardona making his AEW debut.
Right.
But yeah, that hashtag please sign Eddie Kingston or sign Eddie Kingston was up for a reason, and I think they'd be making a mistake if they don't sign him.
Johnny?
Same. Like, well, so for me, this is my first time being introduced to Eddie Kingston, and it was kind of sick. Like, for me, that promo was amazing. When he comes out saying, like, how soft Cody is and everything like that, how he was privileged and had all these opportunities and whatnot, about how him being from the streets and had to rise up and all this. I was like, oh, shit. Damn, I don't know who you are, but now you told me who you are, and I'm behind you. And then the physicality of that match, the hardcore of it, I was like, gosh damn. Like, again, I don't keep track of everything happening with the indies and everything like that. I'm like kind of like a WWE like company guy, and I watch a few of the major promotions. But watching this match, it was an amazing introduction to Eddie Kingston, and they beat the shit out of each other. It was an awesome match. Like, honestly, and after it was said and done, I'm in the same boat as everybody else who saw this. Sign Eddie Kingston. The man's promos were on point. You already said it, John. He's a promo machine. And the thing about it is, that promo like told me who he was, sold me on him, and made me want to see more of this guy on a regular basis. Like, he's awesome. And I think, honestly, for a young company like that, this guy being such a seasoned vet, wrestling the indies, and know how to do promos so well, that could be somebody that could be like really work well with a lot of the younger talent that AEW has to help to get those guys up to snuff. So yeah, the introduction of Eddie Kingston was phenomenal, and fingers crossed, I'm hoping they sign him because I want to see more from him.
And we got the chat telling us he was actually in LAX when they were doing the LAX versus LAX, and I believe it was Kingston, Santana, and Ortiz against Conan, Homicide, and Hernandez.
Yeah, he was just going by Kingston, not Eddie Kingston.
Yeah,
but he was in another group before that. There's three of them, and I can't remember who was in it right now.
Oh, I'm not sure, but I need to see Kingston on my TV and I mean, man, just so happy he knocked it out of the park. It was absolutely just the way to start a show. We'll talk about the way not to start a show when we talk about NXT, but we'll get there when we get there. Also announced, kind of a shocker because we had not heard anything about this. The AEW Women's Tag Team Cup Tournament, subtitle, The Deadly Draw. Now, I haven't really seen anything else about this tournament, but the Deadly Draw makes me think
Lethal Lottery,
which makes me, a huge WCW mark, very happy. Johnny, are you familiar with the Lethal Lottery?
I am not. Can y'all break it down for me, please?
So the Lethal Lottery was, I believe it was Dusty's idea, wasn't it?
Yep, I believe so.
And it was basically to shake things up a bit. Basically, you had the good guy, the faces and the heels in different locker rooms, and it was a whole event where I'm very sure it was Eric Bischoff before he was in charge with one of those bingo ball like things, and you go, okay, it's Van Hammer and Big Josh. They're a tag team, and they're going to fight Van Vader and Cactus Jack, and then they would fight, and then I believe the winners would go on to a battle royal where they would win the Battle Bowl ring, which was just like a big ring. That might have been the second and third one, but originally it was it was a whole thing.
So wait, so I'm clear. So they got the heels in one locker room, the faces in another. They do the lottery or whatever. And so are the tag teams made up of two heels and two faces, or a heel and a face?
Heel and a face.
Well, it's also sometimes heels and heel and face, but it's usually a heel and a face. It's just to shake things up, to have new feuds, to have new tag teams and stuff like that. It was, I guess, would you consider that a failed concept? I enjoyed it. I thought it was cool.
I mean, I found it enjoyable, but I think that's because it was so limited. I believe it was Survivor Series 93 or 94 where they had the wild card match where on one side it was like Sid and Shawn Michaels and Razor or something to that effect, where like it was a mix of heels and faces. And that's the only time we ever really saw it in WWF. But the Lethal Lottery always just made me like more excited because you're just like, who's going to be paired up with who?
Yeah. Like, to be real, like, honestly, once you told me that, because again, I was just like, oh, it's gonna be a tag team tournament, and honestly, I was doubting it because I was like, do they even have enough women to do a proper tag team tournament? Like, I was like, how deep is that roster? It's gonna be like 3 rounds.
Did it say? Sorry, I think it's 8 teams.
8 teams, so 16 women.
Okay, so all right. So again, I don't feel like I've seen 16 women on a regular basis. But, being honest, but I'm looking forward to it though because again, hopefully, like you guys said, it'll shake things up because that whole concept of like a face and a heel being tagged together, you could have potential like face changes, so faces become heels, heels become faces, new tag teams are formed, new friendships, new frenemies, new rivalries. It just has a ton of potential, and honestly, I'm really excited for it now because we've been talking about how the women's division on AEW is so stale and they're not actually developing like real storylines with or doing anything. This is a great jumping off point for them. So if they do this right, this could really work.
Absolutely. I'm pretty excited to see. And who knows, maybe they'll bring in some free agents to be in this tournament as well.
That's exactly what I'm thinking because as Johnny said, like there's not a lot of their usual female talent. I mean, they have a lot of women, over in Japan, but due to obvious issues, they can't be part of the tournament. Especially this week on Dynamite, seeing Ivelisse and Diamante, who I assume are actually not signed yet by AEW, and maybe they are, but I'm just not aware. But I see them picking up a lot of these, independent women into the fold for at least this tournament to get eyes not only on the AEW product, but on these women themselves who might be a part of another organization, such as like a Mission Pro Wrestling.
Yes. Yeah, that would be. So we'll see. I mean, hopefully they bring in some new talents, shake stuff up. I'm excited if it is like the Lethal Lottery, which I mean, you can't put that subheading and make me think anything else.
Is there anybody?
What's that?
Guys, is there anybody you guys like to see them bring in from the independents in this tournament?
I would say Thunder Rosa, but I'm pretty sure she's still within her NWA contract. Even though there's no TV right now.
Right.
And everyone else I feel like is on Impact right now. So it's kind of hard to say who else right now.
I would for sure. Yeah. Thunder Rosa.
Yeah. I'm trying to think because I think Will Ospreay's girlfriend, if they're still together, what's her name?
Bea Priestley.
Yeah. She's signed to somebody right now too, isn't she?
She's in oh my goodness. No, she's not in New Japan. She's in
Shimmer.
She's in Shimmer, but she's also in, oh my goodness, what is the name of the promotion? My friend Dan is probably watching, and he's Stardom. Thank you. He's like, how did you forget Stardom? It's been a long weekend. Yeah, but she's over in Stardom. So she and Will and her live in Japan, so they might just be moot at this point. They might just be hanging out.
I also assumed that B was in an angle before the pandemic started. In AEW. So I believe she was signed by AEW, but was allowed to work in Japan.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they had put up that Bea Priestley is all elite graphic, and I think wasn't she going to get a title shot?
Yeah, I think she was ranked in the top 10, but with everything going on, the ranking system's kind of like unnecessary right now.
Yeah, and only that with the travel restrictions right now too, because it sucks. Because if she's over in Japan, like she can come here, but her leaving here would be like so hard for her to get back out. Though she would come here and be stuck and everything, so that sucks too.
Yeah. So our main event was the Jurassic Express versus Chris Jericho and Jake Hager. Towards the end of the match, we had Serpentico, I believe is how you say this luchador's name, hit Luchasaurus in the back of the head, thus helping the Inner Circle win. And then it seemed like Serpentico was coming to the aid of the Inner Circle and was maybe joining forces with the Inner Circle. And then he removed his mask, and Sammy Guevara is back from his suspension. This might seem a little too soon for a lot of people. He said some awful things. And to go through sensitivity training, I believe, takes longer than 30 days. But also, we have to remember everyone is at home. So maybe that's all he did for a month was sensitivity training because he doesn't have anything else really to do because he can't go anywhere or wrestle regularly. How do you guys feel about Sammy Guevara not only coming back, but also closing out the show? Do you think it sent a weird message?
Well, first off, as soon as Serpentico came up on the apron, I immediately knew it was Sammy Guevara because it's like, why are they going to have this guy who's been jobbing on Dark all of a sudden help the inner circle. So, and there's a mask. So, with the history of Chris Jericho hiding in masks in the audience to help or take out opponents, I wasn't surprised. Honestly, I think that no matter when you brought back Sammy, it would have been too soon. Obviously I do not excuse what he did, but I don't know if making him wait any longer would have done anything.
Right.
So I think, they're a little short on what they could do with angles. So at least bringing him back into the fold adds a little bit to that. I can't say if he learned anything. I would hope he did as a person. Right. But no matter what, he was going to be brought back into the fold. So regardless of if it's too soon or not, it was going to happen, and here we are.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a complicated situation because one is wrong. So that's not the complicated part around. What he said was just fucking horrendous, and you're never supposed to say things like that. The problem is, though, he said it 4 years ago. And so he said it 4 years ago. He's not saying that currently. So they did do the right thing suspending him. But it's can you suspend him for 60 days for saying something he said in the past? And then he's probably already apologized for and whatnot, which he has gone ahead and do. So that's where it gets kind of tricky. So I agree with Jimmy. It's no matter what length of time you suspend him for, it's going to always feel like it should be longer. And you're always going to question whether or not he learned his lesson. However, though, I will give AEW credit, though, because I will say, though, that they did suspend him for 30 days, and he was gone for 30 days, as opposed to when I used to see them ready to suspend Randy Orton, Randy Orton, you get your ass out of here. A week later, Randy, we need you, though. Come on back, Randy. And so the thing about this, though, is that they actually stuck to their guns and suspended him for a long period of time, and hopefully he's learned his lesson. And going forward, hopefully we won't see shit like this from him again. But yeah, I totally agree with Jimmy. It's just one of those situations, no matter how long you suspend him for, it was just going to always seem like it should have been longer because what he did was so wrong. But hopefully he comes back and doesn't fuck up again.
Absolutely. And I think the other thing we have to realize is 30 days is a long time, but in quarantine, time is flying, folks.
Yeah.
It's almost August. This is insane.
And another thing to remember that should be noted is the fact that Sammy did have a private conversation with Sasha. So whatever happened between them, they did hash it out. And Sasha even put out that statement, which obviously Sasha's coming out of this as the bigger person, as she should, because she is. And the fact that she forgave him over social media when she didn't have to say anything. She was well within her right not to, but as the bigger person, she admitted that they talked and that he apologized. So that's the only thing we could really take note from here and with what they're doing with Sammy.
Absolutely. So let's move on to Monday Night Raw. We had a backstage segment with MVP and Bobby Lashley. And who should appear on the screen?
Shelton Benjamin. Oh, yeah, Farouk.
Well, Shelton Benjamin, too. And then Farouk is here, a.k.a. Ron Simmons. And now the rumors are circulating, my friends, that we could be getting a new Nation of Domination. How do we feel about this? I think let's do it. I mean, let's do this. I'm excited. I would love to see, and especially with these guys, with Shelton as well. And was there anyone else they were courting to be in their group?
Cedric.
A heel turn for Cedric would be interesting if you consider this a heel faction, which I guess we would.
Talking to the Viking Raiders too, but I don't think they're going to join that.
I think this is going to be interesting. Jimmy, what do you think of maybe seeing the return of the Nation of Domination?
I mean, I feel like it's kind of mixed feelings because, back before the New Day officially started, it was long rumored that they were going to do it, even though, after Xavier mentioned it on the New Day podcast, that it wasn't exactly like that. I'm as a wrestling fan, I'm excited about the prospect of a nation coming back, but in today's climate, I don't know if it's the right thing unless you make these guys face somehow. But with what they're doing, I'm not sure how you would go about doing that, especially because right now MVP is such a great heel and he's doing wonders for the career of Bobby Lashley, who for the longest time couldn't really talk. And, like with Ron Simmons showing up, it's just adding more fuel to the fire of that rumor. And I can't help the fact that this is the first time in a long time in WWE TV where we see Ron Simmons not just be the funny guy who says, damn, like he was actually in conversation. So it'll be interesting to see where it goes from here. But like I said, I'm mixed on this. So I think I would have to see it play out before I really could give an opinion about the Nation being back.
All right. Johnny, what do you think of the Nation coming back? And I guess further, would they be called the Nation of Domination, do you think? Or would they go by, what is the name they're currently going by? The Hurt?
They're going by the Hurt Business.
The Hurt Business.
Hurt Business.
Which I like. I think it's cool. I mean, it's definitely better than when MVP was running the BDC on Impact.
Hey, man, BDC was cool. I liked BDC. They were doing some cool stuff there. But anyway, Johnny, what do you think of the Nation possibly coming back here?
So to be honest with you, I'm really split on it, to be honest with you. Like, shout out to the big homie Neeson. He's not here tonight. He's doing some family stuff. So our prayers are with him and everything like that. And
absolutely.
But I was kind of like looking forward to conversating with you all tonight, especially Niece too, because I'm kind of torn. Because to be real with you, I'm not that favoring it because, as Jimmy pointed out, the original Nation of Domination was like a weird black empowerment group that was also a heel, and they were doing all this heel stuff, and so they were purposely getting the boost from the audience. But in this moment right now, of like Black Lives Matter, and we're trying to like use all this for like social change and whatnot, I kind of feel like it would send the wrong message to do that way. Like, I love the Hurt Business too. Like, I think the Hurt Business is a great gimmick. I love these guys as heels. I think MVP is like doing the Lord's work, getting over Shelton Benjamin and Bobby Lashley, two guys who can like talk to save their lives sometimes. But right now, with him as their mouthpiece, they're getting these guys on screen. They're doing some awesome angles. I'm loving it. I want to see more of that. But to bring out again the Nation of Domination and to turn like this like black empowerment to a heel group, as I feel seeing the wrong message right now, because at this time, there are people who believe that Black Lives Matters in itself is a negative thing and don't fully understand that. And it feels like doing it would actually fuel those like stereotypes and that negative thinking. So that's part of the reason why I'm like torn, and I actually don't want to see it happen. Like if they did it and they came in his faces or something like that, that would be cool. But the Hurt Business right now is a heel angle. They're doing heel things, and they're doing a lot of cool success stuff doing it that way. So I want to see them continue as the Hurt Business and do it that way. I'm not really a fan of the Nation of Domination coming back right now, especially during this climate.
I think that is a fair assessment. And now I'm like, I don't know if I want to see the Nation come back now. I don't know if that's it's hard because I mean we could get the Nation of Domination theme song back, which is one of the best. And I mean, it'd be great to see Ron Simmons in a manager aspect, as Tanner said. That would be cool. But I mean, maybe they just don't call themselves the Nation of Domination. Maybe they are the Hurt Business, and it just feels a little. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. We also got an interesting segment where Stephanie McMahon decided to boot up her Zoom and call into the show. To tell
like a phone call
to tell Sasha Banks that belt is probably not yours. Sorry. Next week you're gonna have to face Asuka, and we'll find out who the real women's champion is. And we also got Kyrie Sane taking on Bayley on Monday night and beating Bayley. And it is, I think, confirmed that this past Monday was Kyrie Sane's last tapings with WWE. It's been reported that it's a mutual break. Everyone's happy. Everyone's having a good time. So it was nice for them to give her a solid win on the way out. What do you guys think is going to happen tomorrow night? Do you think we are going to get confirmation that, yes, it is a 2-woman power trip, or do you think we're just going to have Asuka get the belt back? Jimmy?
I could see it going either way because, with it being WWE, I could see them prolonging the feud between Sasha and Asuka. But at the same time, the 2-women power trip would be fantastic to see. I'm just afraid that if you pull the trigger too soon, where do you go with it? Because you can only have so many people feuding with any of those titles, given how many women are actually active in the division right now.
Agreed. Johnny, what do you think here? What do you think's going to happen tomorrow night?
I'm interested, to be honest with you. Like, I think we're going to get the 2-woman power trip because it's just such a hot angle right now for the summer, and everybody wants to see it, and we want to see this play out for a while. So I think we're going to get to see the benefits of this, especially if Kari's not going to be there. So the question is, who's going to be in Asuka's corner? Asuka's going to be out there by herself, so that means definitely Bayley's going to be like interfering, as Ian just said right now. Bayley be cheating, BBC. And so the thing about it is, though, so we know that she's going to get involved and help Sasha possibly get the win in some way. And so I'm looking forward to the match tomorrow because it's going to be dope to see. And honestly, like, I'm looking forward to this female power trip to see it keep going because right now it's been entertaining. They've been some of the best stuff that happened on all the brands. They've been dope to see on Raw, and they've been dope on SmackDown, which we'll talk about later. So honestly, they're creating interesting storylines, and I kind of want to see keep going. And so I will be interested to see like when more women start getting involved with this because they're holding all the belts now. So after this like Asuka match on Monday, a tag team needs to show up and be like, yo, we want a shot at the belts. And then they need to keep getting pressure and pressure as they go from show to show to defend those titles on a regular basis and try to get ways out of it. So I'm looking forward when they start bringing more women into this feud.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to talk about the New Day, but we mentioned them a little early when they were first starting off, and it was just like, man, this is not great. And that's how we felt with Bayley and Sasha at the beginning. When Bayley turned heel, I was like, man, this is not great. But now they are literally the best thing on WWE television. They are just running with it. And now it's like, I don't want to see them break up. I don't want to see that. But it's going to happen because that's the road we are. There's the little hints with Sasha looking at the SmackDown Women's Championship in interviews. There's a lot of her wearing the belt. There's a lot of little hints going on. So it is eventually going to happen, but I am glad that I've at least everyone is enjoying this now because they are so ridiculous. Matthew, no, this did not happen. Stop it with this. The New Day did technically split. No, they didn't. Matthew, come on. We started the show with Impact for you, okay? You can't do this to me, man. Can't do this to me. So let's move on to SmackDown. Nikki Cross versus Alexa Bliss. Holy moly. So we have this breaks my heart. I'm not going to lie to anybody. It's announced that a number one contendership between Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. Nikki becomes basically NXT Nikki and is kind of going off the rails a little bit. She ends up winning. She's going to get another title shot at Bayley. But a lot of heel stuff going on between both. Nikki gets the win. What do we think about going back to Nikki getting a title shot? Do we think maybe there is some possibility that within this week, both Bayley and Sasha lose their singles titles?
I low-key love this angle because again, I love the way they pitted Alexa and Nikki against each other because we've been praising their friendship this whole time. They're like, well, you know what, you guys, I think you're better best friends with us. We'll tell you what, now if you guys can get a title shot, but one of you got to beat each other. And again, I love that match. Like that match was like you totally were friends, but they also wanted the belt and that shot at the title too. So they're being like both being extra heelish. Like there's those points where Alexa Bliss was like hitting Nikki in her injured ribs and shit like that.
Yeah.
Like, puts her like in the ring cloth or whatever. It's like starts beating the shit out of Alexa, going back and forth. It was like, gosh damn, they were both being like heelish to each other. But then at the end though, there's this like after segment where they like hug and like kind of squash it, but you can kind of tell, all right, there's some tension there. And then that brings up some points. So like, cool, what can you do with this? Could we get a fatal 4-way for like one of those women's titles, something like that, or a triple threat match for one of those women's titles now going forward? So it brings up a lot of cool possibilities, and it further develops Nikki's story. Like she still has a great friendship with Alexa, but it just adds more layers to it and everything like that, where she's like chasing the goal, trying to be a champion and everything like that. I gotta be real. I can't hate on this. I'm loving the development that's happening right now for Nikki Cross and their friendship with Alexa Bliss. Like they're not just focusing on Alexa like they used to. They're giving Nikki her time to shine. As far as like will she lose the belts this week, I think we got the wild. Like again, I'm cheering for the female of the for their power trip to go on for at least another month. So that's what I'm cheering for right now. So I don't think the belts are going to be getting dropped, but I think the belts will be on the line on a consistent basis, whether we have to keep defending it for a while.
Jimmy, what do you think?
I actually see this. So first of all, I don't see Nikki getting the SmackDown Women's Championship. I actually do see this leading to the breakup of Alexa and Nikki. So it's crazy to think that we're actually going to see the breakup of Alexa and Nikki before the breakup of Sasha and Bayley. But given with everything going on, like that actually makes sense because you still want to save Bayley and Sasha for a live audience whenever that may be. And I think now if you do Alexa versus Nikki, you're giving both of them something to do aside from doing tag stuff with Sasha and Bayley, which we've seen for the better part of 2 months now. And I actually see it being where Nikki turns heel and Alexa's the face, which is going to give them a different dynamic with their feud, because everyone always assumed that Alexa was the one who's going to turn heel on Nikki, like years ago, and it never happened. So I think now it's like people will still expect Alexa to be the heel in this, but the swerve is it's going to be Nikki.
Yeah, I agree. And I think another interesting just wrinkle in the two women power trip is somehow they are breaking up other teams and they're staying together. I think that's very interesting as well. We do have a question before we move on to this next one. I'll just address it from Tanner here. What do y'all think of the rumors that Orton will win the title at SummerSlam? Hold it until next Mania next year. Face Edge in an I Quit match. As much as I love Orton, I don't think this would be the right move. I agree. I have not heard this rumor. Orton holding the title for almost a year would be something, because that would be his most lengthiest run in a while. No, I don't think. I don't think that's going to happen.
I heard this rumor, and honestly, like, I could see it. Well, I don't think he's going to win the title and hold it for a yearly Intermania, just because, like, Orton with the belt like that isn't as entertaining as people, like, sometimes see it. But I think I could see this angle happening, though, where it's, like, leading up to their – because they've already floated the idea that there's going to be an I Quit match at WrestleMania. So I can see him winning the belt. But usually when people win belts for their WrestleMania matches, it's usually around Royal Rumble time, usually within those first two pay-per-views. So I don't see that happening right now. I think we have a long time before we see like that starts getting built that way.
Yeah, I also don't see it happening because for Orton and Edge, there doesn't need to be a title involved.
Yeah.
And especially like if Edge, whenever he does come back, he was never going to be a regular, a fully employed performer, I should say.
Yeah.
Like he basically was going to have a similar to a Brock Lesnar type schedule. So even if he's in a championship match, I'm not going to buy him as the champion. And I honestly hope, and my hope has nothing to do with reality, but I actually hope that Drew doesn't lose the title until people can go to WWE live events again. I think with him winning the title at WrestleMania, and with the pandemic happening at the same time, he's robbed of being a champion in front of the people, for the people. So I'm hoping that whenever, we can go back to live events, he's still the champion. And then somewhere down the road from that point, we see him lose the title.
That'd be dope.
Yeah, that would be, I would be fine with that. And I'm stalling for time because my browser just decided to lock up, but I'm back now, guys. Hello. We also made, apparently, we got Matthew. I got Matthew pretty good with, we started the show out with Impact for you. For you. So speaking of Matthew, we had the talk, guys. Kofi said, "Hey, man, Big E, I'm going to be out for 6 weeks. And I've talked to Woods. I think it's time for you to go out on your own, sir." And I'm full screen myself right now.
Oh.
If they don't give Big E the WWE championship in the next 6 weeks, they are doing something incredibly wrong. Incredibly wrong. Big E has been ready for a singles run for a long time. We all love the New Day. The New Day is great. And Kofi winning the title at Mania, amazing. One of the best moments that I've got to share with my friends and the wrestling community. Just amazing run to get to the title. But Big E is on a different level, guys. I need Big E to hold that championship. And I just really hope that they pull the trigger on this and they give him that championship. Do you guys think that in these 6 weeks they'd go, and give him a little run? What do we think here? We'll start with Johnny here.
I gotta be real. I'm looking forward to it. Like, I'm not sure, to be honest with you. Like, I know he's gonna get some singles like gold. And honestly, I was thinking of him going for the Intercontinental Championship. I was thinking of him going after that and going after AJ Styles. So that's what I was thinking was going to happen. Because low key, I agree with you. Big E is amazing. His mic work is phenomenal. His in-ring ability is great. He's like that middle-sized guy. Like, he's a big guy, but he's also small enough to be like agile and do some stuff as well. So he leads to some great matches. So I'm with you. Like, I don't know how it's going to look for him going after the WWE title right now because of the fact that like Braun is about to face the Fiend next. So I'm not sure how that's going to look exactly. But I do think he could do a really great Intercontinental Championship run to get that belt. And I think that would be dope for him to get some like gold there and everything. So I'm looking forward to this push. And I'm also looking forward to like what I'm hoping is going to happen is he's going to go after and do this run. And he's going to hit a wall where like, you know, like he'll get the belt, but then he starts getting jumped and attacked or whatever. And then we see the whole New Day come back to support him the way they supported Kofi last year. So I'm looking forward to that moment where they're like all back together again. They like help see Big E on the mountain, celebrate with him when he gets his go going. Jimmy?
Yeah, I actually see it like Kofi gave this like 6 week break as part of the timeline, but I see those 6 weeks as the beginning of something. I see it as this is where we see E get his footing as a singles wrestler again, which he hasn't been in a very long time. And those 6 weeks are just going to start him on the path to the WWE Universal Championship. And just like Johnny said, I think that it's going to lead to a similar situation that we had with Kofi. And hopefully, within this time, we're going to see Xavier come back and then them both be behind Big E as he goes for the championship. I don't think it's going to be the Universal Championship right away. If he does go for a singles title right away, it will be the Intercontinental title. And, right now, AJ doesn't have anyone. He finished off his feud with Riddle, his feud with Gulak. I don't know when Daniel Bryan will be coming back, but they kind of already put that on the shelf. So Big E is, kind of the forerunner right now if he's going to be back in singles action.
And real talk, though, now that we talk about it, I'm sorry, go ahead, John.
No, I'm like, yeah, but he was already Intercontinental Champion. I know it's been a while since he's been a singles champion, but I mean, if we're gonna do it, let's go for broke here. Come on, let's get creative. We're not touring; we're hanging out in the Performance Center. Let's do it.
No, I feel you. I totally agree with you. Like, I would love to see it too. The only reason why I didn't say it is because, like, I don't know how you get around the Fiend, to be honest with you, because that Fiend probably
That's Otis.
Yeah, like, and now he literally came back with Bray Wyatt's head this week, and it was like next Braun's going to face the Fiend. It's like, oh, Braun's going to get the Fiend. Well, he's about to lose that belt, looks like, and so that's the only reason why I'm saying that. So, but if the Fiend wasn't there, I totally agree with you. Like, he needs to go for that title. And low key, now that we talk about it, how great would it be to see a New Day power trip where the New Day gets the championship, Intercontinental, then they just show up on Raw one week? It's like, hey, yo, we need that United States Championship, son. It's like, oh, shit, they running all the belts. They running all the singles belts. I would love to see that power trip play out at some point. So hopefully we get to see that someday.
That would be nice. And moving on to NXT.
Oh, wait, there was a question.
There was?
Mm-hmm.
What about Otis?
What's an Otis? I don't know what that is.
I feel like isn't Otis scheduled to return?
Him and Mandy are coming back to SmackDown this week, so we'll see what happens with that.
Otis needs to cash in at some point. He's got a year, sir.
Also, there's no guarantee he's going to win the title.
Very true.
And don't forget that we did speculate he could cash in for the tag team championships. And right now, with the New Day not there, whether the tag team is there for Tucker and as an Otis.
That's very true. So moving on to NXT, and I talked about how AEW came out the gate with Eddie Kingston versus Cody, and it was great. And I watched that live because I heard rumors that it might be Kingston, so I was like, I'm going to tune in. Mm-hmm. And then earlier in the morning, we heard about William Regal's big announcement. His big announcement, and it turns out, in my opinion, the way you don't open the show is by having the most believable double champion who could defend both belts, Keith Lee, relinquish one of those titles before he's even defended it as a double champion. I don't know about you guys, but Keith Lee could have held every belt in NXT by himself and defended them by himself, and I would have been like, yeah, that's believable. I hate this decision because Keith Lee, we could have built him up so much. I mean, maybe a month or two down the line, be like William Regal could be like, Keith, you're running yourself. I need my world champion. You got to get rid of that belt. But at least let him have a little run as double champion. It was a week. Yeah. It was like 2 weeks. Yeah. I personally, as you can tell, don't like this. The North American Championship is going to be up for grabs at NXT TakeOver XXX in a ladder match. Are you guys as heated as I am about this, or am I overreacting as usual?
I'm not really that heated. As you said, I wouldn't be surprised if they actually did this further down the timeline, but I see why they're pulling the trigger now. You get to have these triple threat matches every week, so you're filling your show with content up until TakeOver. So, and not only that, but you're also number one, you're getting a lot more talent on the show, and number two, you're putting this talent together with other people they wouldn't normally have matches with, like this week with Johnny, Roddy, and I keep wanting to say Jonah Rock. But,
I know Jonah Rock.
I can't. It's so hard. It's still so hard for me to say anything but Jonah Rock. But yeah. What's his name now?
Bronson Reed.
Bronson Reed. There it is. With that, like, normally you wouldn't really see that, like the one-on-one, yes, but with the triple threat match, like that was a really interesting match, and honestly, it was my favorite match of the week. And not only that, but next week we're getting a really weird, this week we're getting a really weird combination of three guys. And I think this is going to be another great match.
I didn't see the three guys. Who is it?
It's Finn Balor, Dexter Lumis, and I can't remember the third person right now.
Oh no, I'm going to have to look it up. Somebody in chat, let us know.
Yeah, maybe it's Damian Priest, or no, I believe it's Cameron Grimes. It's Cameron Grimes.
Cameron Grimes.
Yeah, so like, like even with a one-on-one match with any combination of those three is interesting in itself, but with a triple threat match with those three guys, like it's such a clash of styles, and it's going to lead to a great match, as we saw last week with Johnny, Roddy, and Bronson Reed.
Oh, all right. I think it's Timothy Thatcher next week.
Oh, yeah, you're right. It is Timothy
Thatcher. Oh, my goodness.
Okay, I was wrong. I don't know why I thought Bronson Reed, but Trevor Lee / Cameron Grimes. But yeah, like, but even still, like, that's an interesting match.
It is.
That's a very interesting match.
It really is. It's some fly flyers with some grounded, with a real strong grounded pound.
That's crazy.
I feel you, John. Like, I would want to see him get a little bit of run too, but my whole thing about it was that, like, once he won both belts, like, this is dope. But I was like, but he can't lose though. Like, I don't want to see him lose right now. And so
yeah.
So the thing about it is that, like, if he drops the North American Championship but keeps the NXT Championship, that's dope. But he would still have to lose to do it. So that was my whole thinking about it. Is that when I saw him drop it, I was like, oh, this sucks, but this is cool though, because now you can do this lengthy championship run. Because I kind of want to see him, like, keep it for a while and do some dope shit with it. So that's what I'm hoping is going to happen. And also, I agree with Jimmy. Like, now that we get to do this North American Championship tournament with all these interesting, like, mix-ups or whatever, I'm low-key excited to see that. Plus, there's been some rumors of some WWE guys who want to come back to NXT right now. Like, one said Kevin Owens. And what's going to motivate Kevin Owens to win? He's a prize fighter. He shows up for chips. So I can see Kevin Owens showing up in one of these triple threats for a belt opportunity for a belt that he's never won before. I'm like, oh shit, this could get fun. This could get really entertaining.
Interesting.
So that's the only reason why I'm up for it, because, like we said, we know we got Karrion Kross versus Keith Lee coming up soon, and it's like we can't give Karrion Kross both belts right now because we're also trying to build him up for Brock Lesnar or like whatever else is going to happen in his future. And so honestly, that's part of the reason why like I was kind of okay with it, because now that North American Championship can go help build other stars right now. Plus, Keith Lee has the ability where he's won both belts, and he's going to have that legacy going forward, which is dope.
Yeah, first ever, can't be taken away from him. That whole shindig. And speaking of making new stars, we were talking about the triple threats. We did have Johnny Gargano versus Roderick Strong versus Bronson Reed. And Bronson Reed comes out on top here, and he's going on to this ladder match for the North American Championship. And I will say, Neeson, who is not here, said to me, and I think Johnny, if Roderick Strong loses this match, I guarantee you Undisputed Era is done in NXT. What do you guys think about that statement? We've talked about it almost ad nauseum that they're going to go somewhere, and we'll talk about Adam Cole in a minute. And if that's what we're having Adam Cole do, they need to just move them everybody over to Raw or SmackDown. So I guess it's a two-parter. What do you think is going to happen with Undisputed Era? And Johnny Gargano loses this match. He's not in any title picture. Where does he go from here? And I guess we'll start with Jimmy.
It's kind of hard to say where I think they're going to go from here, because we're kind of in uncharted waters with the everything happening during the pandemic. I would hate for them to, I don't want to say waste, but have the Undisputed Era debut on Raw or SmackDown without a crowd, especially, not a post-WrestleMania crowd, because that kind of pop would help people unfamiliar with NXT, give a lot of credit to these guys. The other thing is we also haven't seen Kyle O'Reilly wrestle since the pandemic started. I'm pretty sure it's only been Adam Cole, Roderick Strong, and Bobby Fish. For whatever reason, we've only seen Kyle in these vignettes, and I don't think you would have them debut on Raw or SmackDown without Kyle, unless Kyle is, able to come back for whatever reason. Right. As far as Johnny, I feel like because he's done it all, and once again, because we're in the middle of a pandemic, you can put him in other feuds, and, it could still hold over his character for the time being, and maybe even use this time to develop that heel persona a bit more, because let's be honest, Johnny Gargano as a heel is like the time he's been doing with that, with that persona is so minuscule compared to the time he's had as a face throughout the independents, throughout NXT. So, give him time and give him other angles before you can throw him back into the title picture, because other people are there right now, and I think they've got it covered.
Yeah. I think, Johnny, I'm going to pose a different question to you, because I think that's a good answer there is Gargano doesn't have to be in the title picture because he's done everything. Would you, if there was someone you would like to see Johnny Gargano enter a feud with, who would it be? Maybe someone that is lesser known that we could build up a little bit. Who do you think?
Shoot, good question, because honestly, that's what I was thinking about right now. Is part of the reason why they're hitting so many problems with NXT is because they have so many heels but not enough faces. Because a lot of people are suspended right now too, or like being investigated, kind of like Velveteen Dream. And then we had some people moved up to the main roster, like the Bro. And so that's the thing right now, because I'm trying to think about it. So I mean, one good place I would like to see Johnny Gargano feud with that I think both people would grow and they could do like a nice little series. They already did one match, but I wish it could go on longer. Swerve. Like, I think him and Swerve like work really well together, and I think honestly Johnny could like get him more eyes on him and everything like that. Oh yeah, thanks Matthew. And so that would be dope to see that feud going on and everything like that. And then to answer Jimmy's question, why is Kyle not there? He's diabetic, and so he's not taking any chances going to performance and everything like that.
Okay.
Yeah, I assume that's what it was, but you never know. To your to your question, I actually think that I'm gonna do a random name here to feud with Johnny, because you have all these performance center people in the audience, and one person in the crowd that I wish wasn't in the crowd and was in the ring more is Rick Boogs, aka Eric Bugenhagen.
I was gonna say
this guy was on NXT TV for maybe 2 or 3 weeks, like a year and a half, maybe even 2 years ago. And that guy's energy is contagious, and his gimmick is infectious because he's just like a metal rocker dude.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, they never gave him his time to shine. And before the pandemic started, he would be seen watching matches like off camera, and the crowd would chant for him at Full Sail during the commercial breaks. So I don't understand why you have all this talent in your performance center that are not really doing anything except standing and banging the plexiglass.
Yeah.
Why don't have some of those people, in the ring? Like, you had this breakout star tournament last year, and then you're not really following up with that right now with yet another tournament that they could definitely do right now.
Actually, yeah, I think you, Jimmy. That's a really great point. Is that they could be doing a tournament right now, because like when they did the cruiserweight, it was like that elimination. It felt like it was like the stall for time. But you already have all that NXT crowd there, not doing anything. They're already being exposed. They're comfortable being there. Like, you're right. This is the time for them to do some matches with some different people and do another tournament, lead to some like belt or championship, or just a prestigious tournament to do. So now I agree with you. Wait, which one is Rick Boogs? He's the buff guy who's always like being high energy, jumping around.
Yeah. He's always doing he's got the scream, he's got the air guitar, and you also have other people like Tahuti Miles who's working 205 Live, but he's barely been seen on NXT, and I see him now developing his own gimmick in 205 Live because he's doing what he can with the time being given. So let's have these people on NXT, because you can have them.
I agree. I do want to give a little bit of praise before we wrap up to the what's the name of the dude, the Client Association, the management.
Robert Stone.
I am loving that shit right now. I am loving that shit. He that real tough girl used to be with Dakota Kai is now with him and everything like that. I like that coming together. I'm like, well, you don't like that?
No, it's
Mercedes Martinez.
Mercedes Martinez is with.
I said, the tough girl who's with Dakota Kai, yeah. So Mercedes, yeah. So I'm loving the fact she's joining up with them now, and it's actually been like a little stable. I'm like, this shit's good. They're funny. They put on some fun matches, and now Mercedes brings some legitimacy where they can actually win some stuff. I'm like, this could be good.
I think you're getting Mercedes Martinez confused with Raquel Gonzalez.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. I am. My bad. Thanks, Jimmy.
No. They're very similar in a way. But I agree. Like, I'm a Robbie E fan, so I like to see him getting TV time and with whatever he can do.
He's great.
He is. He reminds me of like a Shane McMahon in a little key in a lot of ways. Like an early Shane McMahon who's like doing gimmicks and like getting in the ring, beginning to shit bad out of him and everything like that before Shane became legitimate. That's what he kind of reminds me of right now.
So main event on NXT featured Karrion Kross and Dominik Dijakovic. Very physical match, which ended. I don't have the still of the steps being kicked into Dijakovic. Very brutal. Kross wins via knockout, and this is one of the images we are left with. Karrion Kross staring down Keith Lee as Keith Lee checks over his frenemy. I love everything about this. This is great. This makes Karrion Kross look like a complete man who cannot be stopped. And that's what you need to do when you have somebody as believable as Keith Lee as your champion. I was a little iffy on this at first, kind of putting Karrion right into the title picture, but I think with this segment and that match, I'm all in on it now. What did you guys think of the close of NXT here, Jimmy?
I mean, I think as of right now, they've done everything right with Karrion Kross, which is kind of weird to say within WWE, but keep in mind we're in NXT right now. So I kind of wish they held it off a bit longer, because we know we're going to get Kross versus Lee at TakeOver. But the thing is, when you think about that match, how do you decide who should win? Because Keith Lee's on his first title run, and this is going to be like one of his first defenses aside from Dijakovic. So you can't really have him lose right now, because he's just gaining momentum, and he's worked so hard to get to this point to be the NXT champion. But at the same time, Karrion Kross is being built as this unstoppable force, which he is, and there really shouldn't be anything getting in his way, even if it is Keith Lee, because the immovable force faces the irresistible object or whatever. But it's going to be a toss-up to see who wins this, because I think they've done everything right thus far with both of these guys coming into this angle between the two of them.
Yeah, I agree with Jimmy, because because honestly, so Wednesday's match, exactly what happened. What happened is what I knew was going to happen. I knew that Cross was going to show up and beat the shit out of David Kojic in order to send a message to Keith Lee. Pretty much, Chris Cross pretty much showed up and killed Krillin in a way. And now it's oh shit, we'll could go Super Saiyan. Find out next time. And so that's what we're pretty much in the middle of right now. And when it comes down to it, it's I'm in the same place as Jimmy, where it's I don't know who's going to win. The way they're building Karrion Kross right now is he should get the win over Keith Lee, or again, it should be a couple of matches where it gets intense and maybe he gets DQ'd for being too brutal or something like that. And so it leads to him eventually getting the belt over Keith Lee. But I give him credit, though. They're building up Karrion Kross quite right, and they're building him the big threat that's going on. And if Keith Lee does lose to him, I won't feel too bad, because Keith Lee had an amazing 2019. On the show, we always praise Adam Cole for his great 2019, but towards the end there, Keith Lee was doing great stuff. He was in that Survivor Series match. He had also spots in the Royal Rumble. People know who Keith Lee is now. Only question is will Karrion Kross beat Keith, and will he get a rematch, and will they fight back and forth? Or will Karrion Kross beat Keith Lee, and then Keith Lee goes to the main roster?
Well, I mean, Tanner has an interesting theory here, and I actually agree. I feel like there's going to be some bullshit ending. I feel like that's what we're going to get with Lee and Cross, mainly because I think it is too soon and you don't want to hurt either guy, but also you can do this BS finish because there's no one in the crowd. You don't, and I think WWE is getting a little better of being oh no, how's the crowd going to react? And now they're just saying, fuck it, tell the story.
Yeah.
And then we'll figure it out later. We don't have instant crowd reaction in front of us. Granted, internet and all that stuff they do monitor that, but it's nothing instant where, we made a big mistake. So, and then we as fans also have time to maybe if I'm seeing a crowd react to something and I go, oh man, they don't like this, I don't think it's that good. I think we're in a different time is all I'm saying here. Yeah, kind of like how New Japan killed Naito. Thanks for reminding me about that. God damn it. Come on, man. Evil.
That's just evil.
Evil. That's who we're giving the title to. You see this background? I'm in the Tokyo Dome right now. Evil. Ugh. All right, we got one more topic we got to talk about, and then we'll get out of here. And I don't even know what to think about this. Adam Cole showed up on Pat McAfee's show, and they got into a little tiff, as I will call it. This has kind of been an ongoing thing where McAfee has never been a fan of Adam Cole, and things just got heated on the show, and now there are rumors that we might get Adam Cole versus Pat McAfee at TakeOver. What did you guys think about Adam Cole on the show? And what do you think about us? This is where we're putting Adam Cole right now? What do we think about that as well? Well, I'll go with Johnny first here.
Gosh damn it. I'm not a fan of it if that's what it's leading to. When I saw the segment, I was like, oh, this is dope, because I'm not sure if you guys remember, but that was one of the concerns I brought about Adam Cole either last week or 2 weeks ago, was is he big enough to actually go to the main roster? Because he is kind of small. Because when I saw him compared to Daniel Bryan, I was like, oh shit, he's smaller than Daniel Bryan. And so that does have me worried, because again, I believe in Adam Cole. But I'm like worried about like people backstage and Vince and them believing this. But the thing about it is, though, Adam Cole is a star. You can put the belt on him. You send him on Good Morning America. He's gonna be relatable. People are gonna love him. Like he's like I believe he's the next big thing for the company. But if they're gonna like take him from this hot ass run he had in 2019, all these amazing matches, to doing this like dumbass feud with Pat McAfee or whatever, I'm not a fan of it. I don't want to see it. I just want to figure out. I want them to figure out what his next step is and like try to pull the trigger on him now. So either figure out is he going to the main roster or do something else with him on the NXT, but just figure out something to keep like this, keep the engine going for him.
Did Adam Cole resign?
I'm not on the dirt sheet, so I'm not exactly sure. I mean, if he didn't resign, is this punishment?
Because this kind of feels like a match for somebody that didn't resign.
Yeah, I mean, I see it as one of two things, or maybe it's both. One, as you said, a match for someone who didn't resign, or number two, there's barely, any new content on television, with professional wrestling being one of the only thing that's putting out original content every week. This could be just a ratings grab, like put Pat McAfee's name on a graphic and send it out to all these publications, and people who don't even watch WWE will turn their eyes on this. I mean, Gronk got people talking with people who don't normally watch wrestling. Maybe this is something in that same vein. I hope it's not. Either way. And people were wondering like, oh, is this a work or a shoot? And they were thinking it was a work or it was a shoot because of all the F-bombs dropped. But yeah, they're doing that because it's on Pat McAfee shows. It's not on WWE's show. So
right.
They'll get away with that to get people talking, and then they'll run into the whole work of it. But yeah, who knows?
So I just did a little quick research or whatever, and apparently shout to Ringside News, apparently his contract expires in August. And so it's running up pretty soon. And he hasn't resigned yet. And he does work for a competitor's company.
Yeah, things could get very interesting come the end of August. I don't know. I think Adam Cole ends up staying. I don't think he's going to go but I wouldn't be shocked if he went anywhere as well. But yeah, man, I'm not here for this. What is this nonsense Pat McAfee match? I guess it's better than Gronk because at least he's been around.
I mean, if at this point anything's possible. I mean, they, as was seen earlier last week on the Mattel panel, Gronk's getting his own damn action figure. So who knows?
What?
Yeah, with the 24/7 title and his sweet dance moves. Oh, all right, guys. I think that's it for us this week. Thank you for everybody in chat for joining us. This was a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. Adam getting the New Japan. New Japan.
Y'all gotta stop trolling John. I gotta leave him alone. It's too soon.
I got the Destino eye in the background. Naito's up there. I'm in the Tokyo.
Wait, does that mean that Pat McAfee is going to be the new leader of the Undisputed Era?
Oh my god!
Yes. Okay, let's do it. I love this. This sounds great. This sounds like a good time. All right, guys. Before we get out of here, is there anything anybody wants to plug? Jimmy, we'll start with you.
Go over to @HeadlockedComic on Twitter and Instagram. Coming up on the tail end of their Kickstarter for their upcoming new issues. Going to have stuff written by MVP, Donovan Dijakovic, and a bunch of other stars. They also have prints and signed prints available. And you can also check out the Mask Mats and Mayhem show, where we're doing our Lucha Underground reviews and interviews with, I believe, Drago is going to be upcoming.
Ooh.
So, yep, get on that on this right here for more information. And my personal on Twitter and Instagram.
There you go. Johnny, what do you got for us?
Nothing. Comic-Con at home is wrapping up today, tonight, everything like that. Thanks everybody who came through and bought and support. As always, you can find me at JohnnyP313 on Instagram and Twitter. Go give me a follow, like there. And you can find my comics on Gumroad, also at JohnnyP313. And by the way, Jimmy, I love the tag for your MMM show and everything like that. Because it sounds like you said like, show. So,
oh yeah. We used to call our fans the denizens of deliciousness.
Oh, that is dope. That is dope. That's awesome.
That's great. That's perfect.
Awesome.
I think for me, I just want to give a shout out to all the writers at that #show.com. They absolutely killed it this weekend at SDCC at home. Hats off to them. I know they were working really hard this weekend. I wrote one article. I'll fess up to it. But I wrote like 17 last Comic-Con. So, I mean.
Yeah, he did.
What else for me? Tornado Tag Radio is my wrestling podcast. This week we talk about Impact and AEW and some other stuff. What else? NOTLG.com is my podcasting network. I do the Tornado Tag Radio show and I do a Doctor Who podcast as well. We're coming up on episode 200, so I'm pretty excited about that. Twitch.tv/that #show. I've been streaming Warzone. I'm playing Modern Warfare a lot. I'm also going to move my Switch in here and maybe play some other games. So come on and hang out. And I'm going to watch some Japanese wrestling. I haven't done it yet, but I'm still trying to figure out how legal that is. I'm trying to find one that doesn't have any streaming service, but I think I found one that is pretty good that I've been watching. But that's pretty much all my plugs. And then JP Thrice's. That's where I'm at everywhere. So Facebook.com/THS Wrestling News, Instagram.com/THS.Wrestling. And most importantly, that #show.com for everything trending in geek
pop
culture. And we'll see you guys next week. Have a good one.